Hello everybody, welcome to Wing Talk. This is not Steve, as you can see. Steve couldn't make it today, so my team and I will roll the show for ourselves today. First of all, I think we go through everyone in the call. Darren from South England, how are you, mate?
Really good. Actually got out flying today, which I haven't done in about a month, so yeah, I'm happy. All good. How are you doing?
That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah, I'm good as well. I was flying today as well. Last Sunday, I was flying the first time this year, or since January actually. And today I tried again, but it was unfortunately pretty windy, so it wasn't that fun that I hoped for. But yeah, I got some things done, so I'm fine with that. Luke, how about you?
Now frozen for me, Mark.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
what was that
I'm
about?
good.
No problems?
So much for no technical difficulties today.
No, not at all. Yeah, I'm good. Unfortunately, I haven't been flying in ages either, same as Darren. The weather's just been pretty bad around here, really. I've been busy recently, but I did get a day of fixing some planes, so hopefully I'll have some more to fly soon.
Nice. Yeah, speaking of frozen video, yeah, yes, you can see, guys, everything is live and something always happens. My whole Skype application is frozen, actually. Luke is still moving, Darren is moving, my image is gone, and the application is locked up. 1 second, I will just quickly restart Skype, and then we should be back online.
So I guess Wing Talk is still going?
Yeah, Wing Talk is going.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Here we go. Relaunch Skype. At least you can hear me because I'm in the direct view.
Yeah, as Luke said, the weather here has been pretty terrible. And the occasions we have had good weather, it's been away, so haven't been able to fly for ages. Got to try the Baby AR Pro for about 20 seconds earlier today, and the motor burnt out. So unfortunately, that's going to have to wait a bit. But yeah, I had a really nice long flight with the original AR wing. And yeah, what's that? You got the AR Pro there, Luke?
Yeah, my twin AR Pro. Since the last time I was on a Wing Talk, it has flown. However, you can probably see bits hanging off. It's flown quite a few times, but every single time it's ended with breaking one of the motor pods. So
is that still from the Solstice flight?
Yeah, that's still from the Solstice flight. So I flew it on the Solstice, which was the 21st of June, which may even be the last time I flew. That
was the last time I flew. Before
today, which is just tragic. Yeah, an entire month ago. But yeah, it flies amazingly. You know, plenty of speed, really efficient. It'll do about 100 miles an hour, or 160 kilometers an hour for 15 minutes. But it needs a redesign on the motor pods to get them a little bit higher or something, so that they don't break off on every single landing.
So that's something for the 5-mile challenge, right?
Oh yeah, it would definitely be good for the 5-mile challenge. I think it would be good for the 10-mile challenge. I can't work. It was good for one of them. I think it was a 10-mile challenge that would be quite competitive at. Yeah, 10 miles out and back.
Darren, you said you burned out the motor of your Baby AR wing. How did you do that? I mean, I have mine here. Mine flew today with long full throttle runs and no problems.
It may have got damaged on the first launch. For some reason, there was a problem with the board alignment, and after auto launch, it started going down. Didn't realize what was happening, just maybe thought it didn't have quite enough power. So disarmed, I believe I disarmed it, and it just gently landed. Second launch, as soon as it finished the auto launch phase, motor was dead.
Oh, okay.
Had to glide it down, give it a little bit of power, and smoke came out. So yeah.
Oh, okay, but
not too good.
You're not running the stock setup, right? You have your own. Oh, okay. And 3S, I guess. Okay, nice. Yeah, I flew mine today in that storm with the complete stock setup on 3S. Unfortunately, I think either something with the capacitor I used is wrong, or with the F405 WMN, because I had a hell of a video noise, although I have a cap on the ESC with blinking OSD, so really bad. I didn't want to fly more than one pack just to not kill my regs on the flight controller. But beside that, it performed pretty well on that wind. Yeah, I hope we have some better weather soon, and I can see the actual flight performance of the plane, and not just how good it can fight the wind.
That would be nice. There's about 35-mile-an-hour wind here as well. So,
yeah, it's
so, yeah,
about the
same. It wasn't
same.
a great day for weather, but I just really wanted to fly. So.
Yeah, same. Okay, Darren, you have a few topics for today. You prepared a few things. So do you want to go and start with it?
Mark's in the list. Luke hasn't so far, but yeah, we may as well, I guess, work down from the top. In the second half, actually, we're going to talk with, well, not with Shawn, but about Shawn's monthly challenges. So he's going to, I've seen he's in the chat now, but he's still flying. But in the second half, we're going to go into that. But maybe we should talk about some news first. And one of the things that have turned up this month is a new aircraft from Atom RC called the Penguin. And who knew penguins could fly? But you know, I figure we could have a chat about that because it's quite an interesting design.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Of course, I have no picture open of it, but let me get something quickly. Atom RC. No, wait. Oh yeah, I am for some reason. That's really strange. Atom RC. Yeah, so here we have it, the Atom RC Penguin twin motor. Just sharing the link with the Skype chat so you can see the page as well. It's hard to moderate and handle the stream at the same time. So yeah, it's a really interesting design. I mean, it looks like a kind of store-bought toy plane. Actually, you would usually get from Bangor like for $20 from a design perspective, to be honest. But I can imagine, and I talked to Daniel, I think is his public name, from Skyzone and Atom RC. They're the same company now. They've fusioned somehow, and I made some guesses what the target for the Dolphin is, and he agreed that it's basically a aerobatic park flyer. And I think with the deep wings and basically the short fuselage length, or the short overall length, and the ratio between wingspan and plane length, it should be pretty agile and slow flying, especially, and maybe a good 3D plane. We will see. Yeah, absolutely. Let me check. Yeah, I wonder what the chat says about it. Right now, I cannot switch to my camera because, Skype has locked up again. Not sure what. It's one of these days.
Caroline RC says it looks like it would be an easy one to VTOL. Maybe. The only issue with that could be the motor at the back, because the elevator goes full span on the tailplane. So if there's a way around that, then yeah, maybe.
I mean, you could maybe in front of the elevator servo, if you have a way to reroute the cables. Basically, cut a hole, like a 3-inch hole into it, and make a ducted lift propeller inside the fuselage, and make the front propellers tilted.
Yeah,
That might
or
work.
even maybe a quad, like the actual sort of quad plane. So you have 4 motors and only have the front ones tilting.
For some reason now everyone says we have no sound anymore. What the hell is going on today? I see my audio bars moving.
It's Steve. He's jinxed it. He's feeling rough, so he's made the chat fall apart.
Yeah, wait. Give me a second, guys. I will try to figure that out. Oh, okay. Sound is back. That's at least one good thing. My Skype is still locked up, so don't know why it switches. Yeah, let me quickly restart my camera or repower my camera. Maybe that helps.
See, this is the thing. Mark's recently rebuilt his computer, so he's having issues now. I think you had to replace the motherboard and some other bits.
Apparently, didn't do a very good job of it.
All right. Apparently, the sound is back.
Yeah, the problem is my camera is still not working.
Can you let us know if in the chat if the sound is back? Obviously, there's a little bit of lag, so we don't really know where we're at.
So my sound is working again. My microphone is reset. My camera did not reset, so let me restart Skype once more, and I hope this time it stays
I think
stable.
it's all good now. It seems like everyone's saying it's good now.
Okay, I just have to restart Skype
Turn
because
it off and on again. Yeah.
Yeah, I just turned it off.
Always the way to fix things.
I just turned it off and on again.
Good.
Okay, just restarting Skype, so Darren and Luke, you will be not in the stream for a moment. Yeah, last week it was the sound, everything was crumbled, and now it's the video.
Ride the line between not being
on
professional but still getting out something good. Normally it seems to work okay, but
normally it's fine.
No, it seems like I could feel a little bit too close today.
Okay, now I am back, and I hope everything is good. Good, my mute is working. Okay, everything is working. You shouldn't touch it anymore. Good. Yeah, guys in the chat, what do you think about the Penguin? Beside the idea to make it a VTOL, sounds like a good idea, actually. I mean, it's keep in mind it's also just a 750mm wingspan and a 640mm length, so it's not that big. You won't have a lot of room for big flight controllers or a lot of cabling. And the third motor, it might be tight. I mean, you can definitely make a tail setter of it, because the prop wash of the front motors goes straight over all the control surfaces, so that should be possible.
It's the most feasible way forward. Although I have to be tested.
Yeah. Okay, what else on the list, Darren?
Okay. Well, we did see an image of a new transmitter. I don't know if you want to go into that one.
Oh yeah, let's look at that. That's a good idea. Where was it? It wasn't Banggood, I think.
Oh yeah, that was on Banggood. Yeah.
What company is this transmitter made by?
It's made by Jumper.
Okay.
They've basically, from what I remember, they've cloned the Radio Master Mamba, which is a clone of a TBS something Mambo.
Yeah.
Almost. And they've added some interesting buttons to it.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Let me switch to screen sharing again. So I think it was Shawn, who found it and showed it to us. It has a very strange design because it looks like a very small game pad from the 80s, something like that, from the shape. But the interesting part is the mode buttons it has. It has a 6-button mode selector, and they yeah, exactly. They had the fantastic idea. Exactly. It has. I mean, Q step and Q land is just for quads, I think, or VTOLs. Some. Yeah, so for VTOL planes, and beside that you have auto, cruise, return to land, and fly-by-wire-A. You have no acro, you have no manual, you have no step mode. So I think pre-labeling the buttons like that is one of the stupidest ideas I have ever seen in a radio. I mean, maybe they have buttons for all the modes because it says custom. It says custom 6 button, but there is nothing. There's nowhere. Yeah. Yeah, I do the same, but still I don't see because all the product images show the same button layout, and I don't see any mention of additional buttons or specifically saying you can switch them or swap them out, you know? This is really strange. So, some guys, something is wrong again. Now suddenly I didn't do anything, and something for some reason everyone can now only hear me.
221-700 batteries.
Yes,
Okay.
that is a good point. I'll give it that. The batteries are good, but the rest of it, it's like, why?
Oh, no trims either.
No trims.
Oh no, it has trims. It has trim
buttons.
crowns. Yeah, these star buttons at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, are they 4-way or 2-way each?
Guys, is the sound now back for everyone? I see my bars moving again for the system
says the
sounds.
sound's working, yeah.
Okay, sounds. I think in the background somewhere my audio driver might have locked up. That was also the reason why I heard the echo before. Now I switched back to the old settings, to the original setting, and the echo is also gone.
Oh right, okay, that's good.
Nice.
Okay. The Just FPV says these are decals and you will get a bunch of them. You can choose which decal goes on which button. Oh,
That would be good. I like that.
Okay, this is actually then it's a good idea. But then I hope they also introduce some decals for INAV modes, maybe.
Even if they don't have INAV specific ones, that's not too big of a deal because you know the Ardu pilot names are similar enough to the INAV names that you know you'd know what you were doing, kind of thing.
But how are you going to read it when you got goggles on?
Yeah,
most
I don't
FPV
fly with
pilots use
goggles. I fly with a monitor.
I know you don't.
So,
Luke.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, let's be honest. This radio is made for, like you say it, like to say it, auto operator, not for FPV pilots.
It looks like it's made for a child, if I'm honest. I mean, look at the size of the LCD screen. It looks like an OLED that you'd put in the aircraft.
I don't know. I quite like that though. You know, how often are you looking at your transmitter screen? Yeah, obviously, if you have a lure,
programming
it's different. Yeah, but you know, how often are you actually programming it? You know.
I think you can't even use it for the lure because that's a 168 something OLED.
Yeah.
And I think
you want to use it for the lure.
Yeah, it's a 1.3-inch OLED screen, so it has even less resolution than the Tyrannus X9 LCD. So your spot will tell you what mode you are in. Yeah, probably. The problem that I see is everyone who uses autopilot in a line of sight matter, or no, not everyone, but most people in a line of sight matter, and with a VTOL or for autonomous stuff, using autopilot will not fly with a €120 radio or a $100 radio. These people use professional big radios with a high quality standard.
Yeah.
And everyone who flies FPV doesn't care about the labels on the radio.
Yeah.
Who just wants to have a cheap one. And usually these people flying mostly FPV is also a relatively small number actually flying autopilot, let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't actually tweet onto that, because I was thinking this is cool, but I wouldn't buy it because it's a jumper and I wanted something a bit more reliable. That's kind of like the whole point. You know, obviously for FPV flying it's fine, but if you're doing something autonomous, you know, you want and yeah, that's probably, like you say, the case. This kind of fills a niche that doesn't really exist because of that.
And half the time, you're probably using a ground station, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even just take the Radio Master radios. Even if you have the high-end versions of their X16 series, like the not X16, T16 series, they are in the €200, €250 ballpark, and still the quality of the materials is just shite. It's just cheap toy grade stuff, and I don't think that this radio is much better, and I wouldn't even consider using that for professional purpose.
I do like the decals on the buttons though. Sounds stupid, but I'm already thinking about modifying other transmitters.
I was going to say, you could take something like an X20.
Yeah, exactly.
Some stick buttons.
That is exactly what I'm thinking.
Alongside. So it's not a selling point for a radio, really.
No, it shouldn't be, should it? No.
Yeah, definitely not. We will see how it goes, and if some of them pop up in the group in some posts having issues, maybe with the ELRS. I don't know, but that's by the way the next point. If you use it for professional purposes, you don't use Express LIS. No one uses Express LIS in professional stuff at all. But yeah, Sharpie plus buttons equals labeled Caroline. Yeah, it's a good point.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I guess Express LRS was mentioned. So it's news. There is a new version of Express LRS, and I know quite a few of the guys watching use it. The main thing that I saw, which would probably be of interest to people, is it uses a cloud-based update now, so it's quicker to update. There are some extra things in there like airport, which people may be interested in, but yeah, go check that out if you're interested in the ELRS.
I just saw this is ELRS and it says 915/2.4. Does that mean that it has both?
No, there's two different versions.
Ah, okay. Oh, well, that's disappointing. I was going to say, does it have both and then an RF module switcher or something to go to the same antenna port? Because that would almost be interesting. But
no, it's optional. You have to select what model you want.
Now. Yeah, okay. Well,
but it has some kind of extension bay connector in the back, so I guess you can like extend it with a different module to have both. I don't know. Yeah. Regarding Express LRS, I have just the release notes open. Some things like improved auto board detection, yeah, improvements, some bug fixes. Return Wi-Fi to R9M backpack upload methods. Okay. Yeah, I think that Darren is here more more into it than I am actually.
I've got a few things. Yeah, I do use it on some aircraft, especially I'm using it on smaller stuff just because the antennas and everything are smaller. But also, yeah, I know the range is good. So
I'm still interested in using ELRS, but I haven't really because it seems like too much to set up and get into, and I have other things that already work, so it just seems like a bit too much of a hassle. But
it can be an absolute ball ache. I'm not going to lie. Half the time it works fine. Half the time you need to hook it up to a FTDI adapter and flash it manually and stuff like that. And there's other issues. Like yesterday, I was setting it up on my quad and trying to update the firmware. It wouldn't update it because the file was too big. So you have to downgrade the firmware to an old version, then upload the newer one. So there's stuff that's a pain, but overall it works pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I think I have a clue why my audio issues appear. I think I have some XSplit uses the sound in two of my scenes directly from the source and the system sound, and in the other scenes only from the system sound. That's why I heard that echo when I'm in the Skype call, when Skype is in full screen, but I don't have the echo when I'm in the screen share. But when I remove the echo from the Skype call by switching the system sound device, the others have no audio from you guys when I go into screen. Yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay.
At least we know what the bugs are.
I think I know where it is. I just have to exactly find it and fix it, actually. Maybe if you guys give me a minute, then I can try to figure it out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can chat about other things. There's a couple of things that I wanted to mention that were brought up in the group. The first one is if you ask a question, please don't delete it if you get an answer. I think Davey mentioned this. Someone posted a question up, which was really interesting. I think Shawn was halfway through replying to it or reading, and then it just got deleted. It's really good to just leave everything in there, even if you don't, even if it's resolved your problem, because it could help other people. It might just be interesting for people to read about. So yeah, please don't delete posts, especially if they're asking questions. And if you get the answer, it does really help other people. The other thing I could bring up while we're waiting on Mark to fix everything is the not INAV related. There's been they've been a lot less recently, but every so often you'll see a post where they'll say not INAV related or at the top. Because, or maybe not INAV related. But half the time it is. So if you're talking about anything like VTXs, anything to do with flying, then it is relative to what we do in the group.
I think the rule is maybe more along the lines of if it's specifically not INAV related. You could see what I was thinking there, as I said. So, you know, if it's specifically not INAV related, then it's probably not what you should be talking about.
Yeah,
if it's tangent to INAV, it is still completely acceptable.
Yeah, if it's anything really to do with flying RC effectively, it's still all related if we're using a flight controller, or it could help someone. So yeah, the only things that aren't really related is there's people saying use RGPilot and shit like that. Not mentioning any Mo names. But yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions or post things in the group. It's not that strict a rule. It's really just to try and avoid spam and that sort of thing. So don't worry too much about it. Mark's looking serious, so I guess we're still not resolved. Okay. So the list is getting shorter.
Go
so,
on, Mark.
Yeah, come on. We're on a time limit here, Mark. Right, let's have a quick look at the chats. Time to auto-tune the audio. Yes, definitely. Let's have a quick look. Caroline says that she's going to be sticking with Crossfire on her planes rather than ELRS. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I use all the systems, well, within reason. If I got my transmitter out of the case right now, it's a FreeSky transmitter. In the back of it's an R9 module, and then I've got a Radio Master Ranger module and a Crossfire module. So I'm using all different systems. So yeah, no real sort of biases towards either of them. But
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. I've got stuff with Crossfire in it. I'm not going to stop using it, but it's working. Yeah, I tend to pick the system that suits the aircraft the best. If I need more channels, I probably use R9. If I need 3 wires, I would use R9. If I want something with small antennas and small footprint, I'll probably go LRS. If I maybe am building something a bit more high quality, I might use Crossfire. It's just you pick what you want, and if you've got a system, it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason in 2 of the scenes, the Skype NDI stream is providing audio, but in the other scenes it does not, and I have no idea why this is the case. But I have an idea how I could maybe fix that. Not sure if that works.
Maybe best just to stick to this one scene till we get to the break.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. So, yeah, Mark, try auto sound. No, I don't think so, because then I have to study a month just to get the audio working at all.
You have to go through a list to find a parameter that fixes it as well.
Yeah, probably. But try something. Okay, I just want to know now, if I remove this, what apply? Okay, can you guys say something?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, now I don't have the echo. That's good.
Have you still got sound in the chat?
Oh, that worked. That really worked. Yeah, so what I just did was I copied the working Skype NDI stream into the other scene. And now I have it here without audio and everything is fine.
Cool. And yeah, everyone's still happy with the sound, so that's good.
Everyone else is happy, I am happy. Now I just need to fix the size. For some reason it doesn't let me pull it bigger. And we copy it from here. Okay, here I don't need that. Yeah, okay, should be fine now. Good. So, next topic. Our top plane list, maybe?
Yeah, we could do that. Leslie's here in the chat, and this was his baby. So, yeah, I don't know if you could share the screen.
Yeah, but I'm doing.
Yeah, basically, Leslie put out a poll. Usually, we've sort of had a top 10 plane list in the group, and we didn't have one for a while. So Leslie put out a slightly different poll about the one that you're most flying. Trying to remember, yeah, top 10 go-to models of 2023, and yeah, it's interesting. There was actually a different winner this time. Usually it's the AR Wing or the AR Pro. This time it was a different aircraft. So yeah, it seems like some things have shifted. Mark, your sound's gone.
Yeah, I mean am I now live?
Yeah,
okay.
no,
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You can hear me now, okay. Yeah, so the last, I think, 2 years or even 3 years, the AR Pro was the top one plane, and it was pushed back on place number 3 after the T1 Ranger. And to be honest, since I have one here, sorry, I still have too many windows open. Sky post. Come on. Here we go. Since I have one here, fully set up, just needs to be maidened. Unfortunately, my maiden wasn't very successful, and I crashed and destroyed my VTX. But working on the T1, I have to say, yeah, there is some quality behind that. That's for sure. I know there are some concerns regarding the motor mounts. Some people have melted them or lost the motors or something like that. Mine seem to be pretty rigid. I will see how that goes. But yeah, it's the T1 is definitely a plane with a fantastic build quality. Very precise foam molds. And it seems to fly well, at least what I can see from all the posts in the different communities. I'm looking forward to fly it, and this will be also my first digital FPV plane after I have digital FPV systems at home for nearly 2 years, but never flown one. So yeah, the new VTX, I ordered a new one, is on its way, should arrive on Monday. And as soon as I have a nice day to fly next week, I think I will maiden it properly.
Yeah, I flew my first digital FPV on a plane for 20 seconds today, before the motor burnt out.
Yeah. For me, I made it 20 meters because I forgot. It was such a stupid mistake, actually. I have set the motor protocol to standard and forgot to calibrate. And I did not expect the ESCs to be so much off in their throttle adaptation that the throttle difference they had during auto launch went into a complete flat spin and a spiral into the ground.
Yeah. Oh, Curtis is admiring the bird's nest inside your Ranger as well.
Oh, I mean, to be honest, I have no idea how to build that tight without a bird's nest. It doesn't look as bad as my ZOHD Drift, so to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the T1 does seem like a really nice, but also a platform where you can have a lot of variation. So you can have it as it comes, but also there's the VTOL options, and people can build it and have a lot of fun with it. It's definitely something that I'm looking to get hold of. So yeah, it does look like a good little plane.
Okay, good. The second one on the list, the Atom RC Dolphin. I mean, the Dolphin is really a long-term favorite of many people now. I know we have. How long is it on the market now? I think like 1.5 years or so.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I saw my first real-world Dolphin at the Mappin FPV event last year in August, and I think it was out like a few months at this point. And to be honest, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Dolphin. I didn't fly one myself yet, but from what I saw, it's really stable. It's reasonable agile. It's not like a aggressive aerobatic plane, but it flies very stable. It's smooth because of the long fuselage. We have seen the similar behavior on planes like the Alpha Strike, for example, because of the long fuselage, the partial lifting body. These planes are very pitch stable naturally. It's a great flyer, and you have a lot of option with the different noses you can attach. There are also a lot of 3D printed noses, as far as I know, for different camera mounts. Great plane.
Yeah, they do fly really nicely, and also they can fly slowly as well, so you've got a lot less risk of stalling them. And I suppose forward swept wing, it's also better for stalls anyway. But yeah, that fantastic plane. Really can be efficient, can be quick. It depends how you set it up. but again, something with a lot of sort of customizable options.
Yeah, I totally agree. The third one on the list, the AR Wing Pro. I mean, let's be honest, I don't have to tell a lot about this plane. we all know
it's
it.
going to be on the list somewhere. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, obviously, more people have been able to launch it recently. I guess that's why it's up.
Yeah, the plane that's nearly impossible to launch. But yeah, it's still my favorite plane at the moment. I flew it today, even in that storm, but it's not the most stable in windy conditions, that's for sure. And the Elevons like to see some love to get to their full potential. But beside that, I personally still love it, and there are still a lot around. So yeah.
I really like it just as a basic, easy FPV wing. You know, it just flies well. I know that people are going to hate me for this, but if you buy the PMP kit, it's okay. it goes together quick.
No one hates you for that, because we all know the PNP has fantastic servos, the motor is reliable, the ESC is reliable. I've no one seen yet complaining about the PNP setup.
I don't know, I would normally complain, so that's why I'm saying.
Normally, yeah, okay.
Servos are okay.
So
they're not great, but they're passable. The motor and ESC aren't great, but they're passable. You know, you put it together, it takes like an hour or so, and you have a plane that flies like pretty well and can go 100 kilometers. So, you know, there's not too much to complain about as long as you can launch it.
So, next on the list, the Atom RC Swordfish. Interesting that Atom RC has 2 planes in the top 10 list. The Swordfish. I've not seen one in live yet. Any one of you wants to say something about it?
I've seen one briefly, but it's not really anything that I could really comment on. I've not flown one. It seems nice. It seems easy to launch because it's a twin tractor. So, but yes, it seems like a nice plane. VTOL, the rudder isn't so great, but
twin tractor, the God's configuration. Just have to put that in there.
I know you like a tractor, Luke.
Yeah, I think I really like it from a design perspective. My problem, the only reason why I didn't get one is because I have so many planes. But since I said that the first time, I got 3 new.
I'm sure they are all necessary, Mark. Don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't have a twin tractor plane yet, so I got the T1. I got the baby AR Pro without asking. So yeah.
No twin tractor plane.
Yeah, how do you not have a twin tractor?
What about the
plane?
clouds? That little one that sort of disappears in your space.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I have one, but not something like you can bash around and fly daily. I don't count UAV where you have to have 2 or 3 hours preparation time before you can even launch it. You know. Okay, so the Swordfish, but yeah, as you said, I think it was our Australian friend who said that the rudder authority on the Swordfish is really bad if you don't have differential thrust enabled, of course. It's a weird design choice to have the VTAs in that flat angle.
Yeah, they are very flat.
On the other hand, it gives good pitch authority compared to other VTALs. I mean, when I compare that with the Clouds or with the Talon GT, for example, they really lack pitch authority sometimes, especially at higher speeds. So I guess this in this regard, it was a good decision. It just needs a properly tuned differential thrust to make up for the missing rudder or the low rudder authority.
So Crunkle Floops just got one. He says he loves it. It's very efficient, handles the wind quite well, but it's more limited on space inside than he had realised. So
Yeah, that's what I always wondered, how much space it actually has. I mean, we can watch videos, we can see pictures. It never tells the full story until you really have one of your batteries and put it in, and you see, oh shit, it doesn't fit.
Yeah. I mean, it does have quite a slim fuselage, so I mean that's where it probably gets the efficiency from, right?
Yeah.
You need to lose from some areas to gain in others. So yeah, it's just the way things are.
Yeah,
it looks cool. It does look cool.
Maybe Crunkle, you can answer if or what battery size you could fit in it. I think I heard someone that you can fit like a 4S 3P or something with 10 amp hours, or at least 4S 2P 21700. That should fit. Like, do I have it here?
Oh, I very much like 4S 2P 21700s.
I think something like that might fit. 10 amp hours. So that would be nice. I mean, I have seen some efficiency data from a YouTube video where it was like cruising at 3.5 or 4 amps on 4S. That's actually pretty impressive for the size and for being a twin motor, because you have the resistance of 2 propellers you have to move. Usually less propeller is more efficient, but yeah, it does a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's always looked like effectively a twin tractor motor glider. So it does have those slim wings. It has a slim fuselage. So it is set up quite nicely for efficiency. Yeah,
I think so. Okay, next one on the list, the AR Wing Classic. Is Henrik here?
I've not seen him, no.
Not yet. Yeah, AR Wing Classic. I mean, there's not much to say. It's still a daily driver for many, many, many people. It's a cheap, it's a reliable, and it's a fun plane, I would say. Pretty agile for wing. Easy to launch.
Yeah, very easy. But, yeah, that's what I was flying today, actually. No issues with the wind. Well, maybe a little bit on landing. It was a bit bumpy, but yeah, fantastic. And that's why I like the 10 amp hour pack, because I did sort of 47 minutes, 27 miles, and was still at 3.7 volts per cell. Absolutely fantastic in that thing. It'll fly for at least an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, the flight time can be really high. I remember I flew mine back in the day on 3S 5000 milliamp hours 21700. So just a 3-cell pack, cruising at like 3 amps. And yeah, it's like 80 minutes of flight time with just a tiny battery, and you can put double that in this plane. If you go for flight time, the AR Classic is really good. If you go for range, then the AR Pro will beat it, of course, just because of the cruise speed. But yeah, it's a fantastic plane, and I still have mine. When I fly it, I usually fly it as a bashing plane just to rip around, because if I crash, yeah, who cares? It's like $50. I get a new fuselage and and go ahead. So it's really cheap, all-day plane.
Yeah, and really good actually if you're a learner as well. It's quite forgiving, so it's really good for a beginner.
And after the ringlets broke off a few times and you have glued them on properly, it's pretty robust as well.
Yeah.
Okay, next one on the list, number 6, Mini Drag.
I've just realised you're reading off the list. Do you have a link to it anywhere?
Oh yeah, of course.
I haven't actually seen it, I don't think.
Yeah, I will also put it in the chat here, the post link. And where's my Skype window? Go. So the next one, the AR Wing Classic was the one we had. The Mini Drag. I don't have one. It was always a little bit on the more expensive side for the kit. Especially the shipping was a problem. You can get them now in Europe from Germany, from Henrik. He still have a few on stock if you want to get one. grumpyshobbyshop.de, I think, or .com. I have to look it up. Yeah, Mini Track is still a very, very nice plane. Very stable, fly smooth, agile. Needs some time for preparation and for build, of course, because you have to laminate this. You have to glue everything together. It's a very, very strong DIY focused plane, but yeah, a lot of people like it. And chef's kiss, Caroline. And it has a few nice flight characteristics. Just check out the videos from what was his name? The parking garage flying through guy.
Shelby.
Shelby Fall. Yeah, Shelby Fall. Check out
Shelby's name.
check out Shelby Fall's YouTube channel. He does fantastic flying stuff. Also with the mini drag flying through a parking garage. It's completely sick. He flies it basically like a quad, like 20 centimeters off the ground. It's crazy. And for stuff like that, you need a stable plane. If your plane is doing this in flight, like the AR Pro did today in 50 kilometers per hour wind gusts, you don't fly lower than like 5 meters. It's just not possible.
Yeah, the mini drag does just fly like it's on rails. It is an excellently handling plane. But I guess the weight of that helps as well. They're quite heavy.
I've had 191 kilometers per hour on it. Speed is a thing the mini drag is actually not built for, to be honest. You can fly it fast. It can handle high speeds, but you really have to brute force that to get it at speed. Everything above 180, like the power, the needed power goes up like crazy. It's really not designed for that kind of speed. It's really designed for stability. 8 to 10 minutes flight time. Yeah, of course. It's not the most efficient plane, that's for sure. Next one on the list is the Nano Drag. I mean, we can say the same like for the Mini Drag, just smaller.
Yeah, basically.
Basically.
Different wing sets with the Nano, I guess.
That's
one difference,
true.
But
that's true. I still have to build mine. I still haven't done it yet. It's laying in a box for over a year now. Just didn't find the time for it. Someday I will do it. I guess when I do it, you cannot get them anymore for like 5 years, and it will like $1,000 or so for collectors. I can sell it then. I will build it one day and see how that goes. Next one on the list, the Dart 250G. I'm actually... It surprises me that the Dart is still on that list, because you barely see any posts of it anymore.
Are there really that many people flying it? It definitely surprises me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 19 votes. It's not... With 464 votes total, it's maybe not market representative. But still 19 votes for the 250G. It's not that bad. I still have one. I still love to fly it now and then, and I think I will take it with me to Meppen next month. But it's a little bit, I wouldn't say disappointing, but it's interesting that so little or so few posts only are done with that plane. But I think there are just better ones nowadays. There are other planes like in the same size class now that might have better stability,
maybe it's
more
just
robust.
That plenty of people are still flying it and enjoying it, but just because it's an older plane, they're not really, posting about it so much. They post more about the newer planes, but they're still flying them.
That's possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I mean, it was a good little plane. I preferred it over the Talon 250, no doubt. But the one below it, I think, probably is slightly better. It's just a bit more expensive.
I've just realised I'm sitting too low in the frame, so the bar at the bottom of the YouTube video is actually cutting off the bottom of my face. I'm just slouching really, really badly.
The next one on the list, number nine, is the Nano Goblin. Yeah, Darren.
Yeah, brilliant
Go
plane.
ahead.
Absolutely brilliant plane. It's without meaning to sound like an arsehole, it is basically what the Dart 250G was based on. No doubt.
You can say it, Darren. It's what the Dart 250G was trying to be.
Exactly. And to be fair, the Dart 250G does do a very good job. It is good. I really enjoyed flying mine, but I did think the Nano Goblin was just slightly better. But the Dart 250G is half the price, so more people will probably get that than the Nano Goblin. But yeah, I think the Nano Goblin is easier to build light if you're really worried about the weight limits. I think it handles the wind slightly better. And yeah, it was really what sort of defines some of the features that ZOHD sold as being exclusive to the the Dart 250G. It's like the carbon through the control horns, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, they're both excellent planes, and I'm sure anyone that's flying one will enjoy whichever they've got. The main difference with the flight, I found the Nano Goblin is a hell of a lot easier to launch. With the Dart, I had to have some decent wind to throw it into, otherwise it would take a nosedive. Where you didn't really have that with the Nano Goblin. I used to sit in a chair and throw it, and it would go up. But yeah, they're both great, both efficient, and both a lot of fun. So whatever you're flying, have fun with it.
Yeah, while we are at comparing them anyway, I have to say, for the 250G, it's really weird. I know so many people having issues launching it with this sagging through, or despite the CG being correct. I have no idea why. Still, till today, I don't know why some people have issues. I have even launched one of these planes myself that caused issues, and even when I launched it, it sagged through, but mine didn't. I didn't even see a difference in the motor thrust angle. It was identical. So I have no idea why on some setups they sag through, on others they don't. Maybe it's maybe it's stuff like different nose, like for a different camera. In my case, for example, I have a 3D printed nose in the front with a split cam as a cover, and others use that white shell that comes with it, but adds more drag because it has bigger opening in the front. Maybe that's part of the problem. I have no idea. Maybe it's flex of the wings, that the foam is different. I don't actually know. When I throw mine and I launch it, it goes straight out like an arrow, like gravity is non-existent. So
you got a good one.
it's difficult to say. As I said, I really like it. It's hard to tune. I mean, to be fair, it's really hard to tune. It is a swept forward wing. Swept forward wings don't tip stall if you pitch up too hard. If you have a too strong angle of attack, they just start bobbing the nose. I think the Nano Goblin also does something similar, but has a much higher pitch rate it can achieve than the Dart 250G. That's for sure. And I think that behavior that you cannot tip stall the Dart causes some tuning issues, especially with the auto-tune. And then people don't realize that it was bobbing and it was basically close to a stall when they did the pitch tuning, and then the feed forward is too high, and then the whole plane flies like crap. Okay, last one on the list, the Dart XL. Dart XL is really a plane that doesn't want to die, right? It's I mean, when you see posts about it, it feels like everyone hates it, but still it stays in that top 10 for years now. And I have no Dart XL myself. I have the Talon GT. I am more happy with that. For me, the Dart XL was a little bit too slow for my liking for cruising around, and not agile enough to have it as a ripping plane. So it was never on my on the top spot on my list to buy. But I still like it. When I'm flying with Glenn, last year he had a Start XL with me. I tuned it. I really like to fly that plane. Yeah, the pitch up tendency is still there, even in the enhanced version. It's not as strong, but it is there. A lot of wings have that. Start XL has it a little bit more, but that's nothing I'm really concerned about. I like how it flies. It's a nice, gentle cruiser, very stable, very stall safe, but you have to watch the CG. If it's too nose heavy, then your landing speed will be high and you will break the nose. That's for sure. Even the enhanced version with the carbon spars, yeah, the nose doesn't snap in the middle of the fuselage now, and now it snaps at the front. So
Great
I
design there.
can't comment. I've not flown one, but I think you flew one on the Solstice, didn't you?
Yeah, right. I flew one then. I struggled to give too many comments about it. It was well after dark. I was basically just handed the transmitter and the goggles halfway through the flight. I couldn't wear my glass with the goggles, so it was all blurry anyway. But yeah, it seemed to fly okay. I remembered it was a bit fast on landing. Didn't really like to slow down too much on landing.
That's what I mean. I think it was maybe nose heavy or something, and because it doesn't stall, it's a swept forward. It doesn't tip stall, and it just puts down the nose and gains speed. And if it's very nose heavy, it will just land very fast there. And by the way, with your goggles and everything was blurry, as long as you keep the blue side up, everything is good, right?
Well, there was no blue. It was black.
Oh, okay.
And black.
Okay.
The only reference point I had was some lights off to the side, but when I was pointing away from them, it was just black everywhere. So. Yeah.
I remember.
It was quite late.
Yeah.
I remember I had that a few years ago when I was at a FPV race, fixed wing race event where they had a track with spec wings and all that stuff. And there was that was also funny. I flew my AR Wing Classic back then, and it was, and while I was flying, it just launched, and they said, "Hey, now all the winners got their trophies and stuff like that." And I thought, okay, I just launched. Put it into position hold. And then they were talking and talking and talking. And it gets darker and darker and darker. This plane's still circling. And then, okay, I have to land now. I put my goggles on and everything was pitch black. And then I had to ask a few people, hey, can you turn on the headlights of your car so I can see where I land?
Yeah, well, what did we do in the end? We got some people to hold phone torches, didn't we? So I could see, we put what field we were even in, let alone where to land.
Yeah.
Don't even know what camera I had in there. I think that was still the old one cam with.
That was the thing. I'm not sure what camera was in that Dart XL, but I've had like completely the opposite experience other times where it's been dark outside. I've looked in the monitor and I can see perfectly. The difference a camera makes is massive. But that camera in that Dart XL was terrible. Yeah.
Wasn't it Walk Snail in that?
I don't remember it being digital. Maybe it was.
I think it's digital in that.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, when I had my AR Classic back then, I had a one cam Swift in there, the first generation. It was one of the last CCD cameras, and it was really, really bad at low light. And later when I remember when I built the Talon GT, that was my first plane with a rattle, and I was flying during sunset, and then I came in for landing. I landed the plane, everything was fine, and I was putting up my goggles, pitch black. I couldn't see anything. I had a really hard time to find the plane because I landed in some high grass and I couldn't see the LEDs from the GPS. So that was funny. Okay, we are through our list of top 10 planes. We will see what the list will say next year, but I can completely justify the order, to be honest.
Yes, it's fair.
Definitely.
Obviously, Peg would be at the top next year because everyone.
What would be next year?
Penguin. Everyone will get the penguin. Like
There'll be 473 votes, whatever, and 472 of them will be for the penguin.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The penguin is really that will be interesting, because I remember when they posted that, when the first picture was posted, everyone was laughing about it. So there were barely any positive comments about it. And I think now the first flight videos and reviews rolled in. I haven't watched one yet, because Daniel said he wants to send me one. I'm not sure if it's on its way already. So I will try it out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I see some potential there. That's for sure, especially for beginners. I think the price is also pretty good, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad. It in a funny way, it reminds me of like a twin tractor F-22 in an odd way, which is what I quite like. So it's I want to try and get one and try it out.
So Leslie, okay guys, time to try and fly and fight the winds. Aloha for now. Yeah, Leslie, good luck and happy flying.
We've all fought the winds today. It's all good.
Yeah, totally. It was no fun today. By the way, that was the first time I flew I had my GoPro 11 Mini on a fixed wing. I have it's so stupid. I have this camera for half a year and not used it once yet.
So I guess you had to add tail weight to your AR Pro.
No, it's fine. The CG was good. I think it's heavier than the Hero 6 that I had in it before, so just a little bit. What did I want to say? I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh yeah, no. I tried it the first time, and I thought, hey, let's see what DJI, not DJI, GoPro has done in terms of stabilization, camera stabilization, because I had the Hero 6 till now. That was my only camera I ever flew from GoPro, and it had no hyper smooth or something. And I watched the video later, and it was complete crap. It's still not comparable to any post-processing stabilization. If you compare that with like gyroflow or rear steady, it looks so much better. It's so much smoother. Yeah, so that's something I will never use on fixed wings, that's for sure. Okay, last point before we go into the break. Basically, a thank you for one of our users. I think I'm butchering the name now. Marcelo Lacavera. He made a small clip and posted it to the group, and that's really cool. And I want to show you all. Let me also share the link in Skype so Luke can watch the video as well. Darren has seen it already, and I find that pretty cool. Screen share. Oh yeah, he made just a 27-second clip.
Oh, Skywalker X8, I'm liking already.
So yeah, Darren found that clip in the group. I have not seen the post before, unfortunately. This was from 3rd of July, and yeah, that was pretty cool tribute to the group. He says thank you for the help of the whole community. So this is also towards all of you in the chat who helps out other new pilots. Yeah. Thank you for the video as well. That's a really cool gesture.
Yeah, it was nice. It was just cool to see, especially the whole panning thing was just spot on. Excellent.
With the thank you on the wings. Okay, yeah, that's it for now. I think we go into the break now. and we will be back afterwards for just some more casual talk. To the chat, if you have any questions, don't forget to post them. We will also look at it now and then. And I think we can then also talk a little bit about INAV future things.
Maybe.
Okay, guys, see you after the break. Hello everyone, we are back from our short break. Everyone is ready and we can continue. So I see no new questions in the chat, unfortunately. So I guess we look into some other things regarding INAV. So even after INAV 6.1.1 was released, the development of course does not stop. new features on the works right now. And we might have a look at a few of them. Darren, do you have anything open or so at the moment?
Yeah, I'm just looking through at the moment. One that is in progress and probably going to be added quite soon is MSP VTX support. So people who use HD0 will love that. So they can adjust their power and frequency and all that via the MSP interface. So that's actually been looked at. It's working very well. So yeah, that should be in 7.0. Just have to go through the list and have another look.
Yeah, I've seen that. So just for explanation, right now INAV has only one way to control the VTX, and that's over smart audio. And everything else is just telling. Oh, Darren, two ways.
Tramp as well.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
that doesn't
over
work
the.
very well.
Yeah, I mean, two protocols, of course, but usually over a separate UART and a single wire connection where you can send commands to the VTX and control it. But for stuff like HD0, that's a little bit redundant because HD0 has implemented MSP VTX control as well, parallel to the MSP DisplayPort. Because it makes no sense to have one UART for the OSD data and then a second UART to control the VTX. And with this implementation, the control is summarized on one single UART to control the VTX, to switch channels, okay, you don't have bands, but to switch channels, switch the VTX power and stuff like that. And yeah, this can be then used hopefully with INAV 7 as soon as that's ready. Question from Jazz FPV. What is possible with ELIS airport and INAV mid-flight regarding setting of parameters? I have no idea, to be honest. Darren?
Well, in theory, airport should really just be a serial link over the air. So if you can use MSP to update INAV in flight via configurator, then or other tools, then that should work over airport.
So if I understand that correctly, then airport is basically a serial subcarrier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Way I understand it, yeah.
Okay. Sweet. So ELIS will do backpack. Not sure what ELIS backpack has to do with the MSP VTX control.
I don't really know. I've not looked into any of that stuff. I'm sure it's again VTX control through backpack because it updates the module on your goggles, and potentially I guess it can update the VTX as well. So I guess it's all tied in, but I've never actually looked at backpack.
Yeah, because you can install it to the module or to the goggles and send commands to your ELRS radio that can send commands to your flight controller. I guess that's what he means. So yeah, maybe then that if your RSSI for the video signal is low, it can automatically raise the power level, something like that. That might be possible. But yeah, the main focus is just now to get the controls of the VTX from the flight controller working, especially if you have stuff like the HD0 Whoop VTX that has no smart audio input. There's currently no way to remote control that on INAV builds.
No, as far as I know, smart audio doesn't work anyway from INAV to HD0.
Oh, okay.
So currently you have to use stick commands.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good. What else?
Yeah, so the other thing that has already been merged is there are extra options for the new GPS modules. So M8, M9 and M10 are getting updated settings. So you can use higher rates, that sort of thing, with the M10 GPS modules. So,
yeah, exactly. Right now with M9 and M10, we are limited to 5 Hz update rate if we enable Galileo. I think if you disable Galileo, you can have 10 Hz actually, but I'm not sure about that.
yeah, not sure.
But this will change as I think the 5 hertz limitation was actually introduced with M9, and M10 is just handled the same way, but for M10 it's definitely not necessary, and that's why it's basically optimized.
I mean, M10's been run at 22 or 23 hertz, I believe, and it's been absolutely faultless.
Yeah, in testing. Fine. Yep. Okay.
So far, a lot of it just looks like tidying up stuff at the minute.
There's
it's only been a month since the last release, so
true.
Yeah, some of the features were in development. Yeah, some are in the development for a longer time already.
Yeah, auto levels being renamed because it confuses people.
Oh, that's a good thing.
So the mode will now be auto level trim. So it's automatically adjusting the level trim because the parameter is fixed wing level trim. So hopefully that will distinguish it a bit more from self-leveling, which is what it gets confused with a lot.
It's not the way I would have named it, but at least it's consistent.
yeah, it's consistent with what you get in configurator.
Yeah, that's true. I would have gone the other way, maybe call it pitch trim or pitch level trim or something like that, but yeah, okay.
Auto pitch trim.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. What else? Some multi-rotor stuff, landing bump detection to better disarm, for example. Hey, Darren, we need to get your wigger to wake. Finally done.
Yeah, we need to test that on a few different aircraft. I'll get that master updated to something a bit more recent.
Yeah, I have already prepared my build environment for that to build myself a firmware for the Bixler. So I can test it with the Bixler, with the smaller planes. I think with the smaller planes, it shouldn't be an issue at all.
No, it's fine with small stuff.
I could test stuff like bumping it to my leg or something, or walking around to see if it triggers for safety reason. And I hopefully will also fly the clouds very soon again and see if it works there. So just for explanation on that one, Darren made a nice little feature, an alternative way to trigger the idle throttle in INAV. Right now we have 2 methods. You can have either idle throttle directly triggered by just raising the throttle stick, and you can have a timer, a fixed timer that gives you a countdown after raising the throttle, and after the timer ends, the idle throttle kicks in before you auto launch. And this will be a new method where you basically do a tail wiggle, like you go on the yaw axis and basically shake the plane this way, like 2 times, I think.
Yeah, I think it's maybe 3 times for small things, 2 times for bigger things. It was configurable.
Okay, so basically on a small plane, like you go left, right, left, and then the motors will automatically start into idle, and then you can throw the plane. And this should hopefully finally bring an end to people shaking their planes before they launch them.
You know it won't, but still going to do it.
Yeah, I know. but we have more arguments to complain about it. Yeah, so this will be a nice addition. Dirty Dog FPV VTOL. Yes, actually. Let me check if there is an updated. Here we go. Nah, he has not updated the initial draft pull request yet. So there is. Let me show you something. There's a pull request in INAV regarding switchable mixer to switch a fixed wing into a VTOL mode. Just very simplified. There was even a video about that. Let me check that out. I can show you. And I think this is also a T1 Ranger, the VTOL version. Lifting off in hover mode, and then he manually flies forward and has a hard transition into fixed wing mode. Yeah, then that's, by the way, Shota Hayashi, who brought us the new AHRS and fixed the horizon drift, who's working on that. And then after flying around a little bit at this point, he switches back into quad mode and lands vertically. So yeah, there is someone working on it. This is a lot of work. This is probably even more work than the AHRS, the horizon drift fix. Because a lot of things have to be switched on the fly during the flight or after arming. You have to have different mixers. You have to have different PID controllers. You have to switch the navigation system between multi-rotor navigation that navigates by tilting and the fixed wing navigation that navigates by just turning and pitching. There's a lot of stuff to be considered to get that working. And if it comes, you can be pretty sure that this will exclude all F411 and all F722 flight controllers. We are even at a point right now, I talked about it with another developer about that some of the new INAV 7 features that are currently in development also might not make it into for these flight controllers. Just because of the storage, we are really at the edge right now.
Yeah, I think we're back up in the high 90s with the F411 in percentage. So yeah,
the F722 are the bigger problem. I think they are at 95 or 96% already. If I recall, because the F722, they have more devices on board. They have like SD card support, and like they load more drivers and have more code in them. So they use more storage, but they have the same storage as the F411.
Yeah. Right. Free Sky D has been dropped, which no one cares about because no one's used that in years. What else do we have? If linear descent has changed. If you use at least with linear descent as you return to home mode, you're used to how it will lower the altitude as you're coming home, with the target ideally being to reach the altitude when you get home. It's such a cool feature. Why is it only on at least? So in 7.0, you can use it on any return to home mode. There is a slight change in the way you set it up because of how other return to home modes used for RTH altitude. You need to set the home altitude to be what you want to arrive home at. That's the only real difference. But it will work with anything. You can also specify at what distance you want the descent to start. So if you only want to start descending 5 kilometers away, you can set that so it will return to home at the current altitude and then start descending. And also, if you're below the current altitude, or if you're in negative altitude, it will actually climb. So there's a few changes to the linear descent feature in RTH, and that's already merged.
This sounds cool. Will this also work for like if you are below your home point, like if you launch from a mountain, fly into the valley, so the plane does a shallow climb up to the
Yep. I actually tested that on HITL. It's in the pull request.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm sure I put the videos in there.
That's cool. We have questions in the chat. Isn't there anything to be dropped, like old protocols or OLED support or so? Yeah, probably, but there are other features in development that will also add a lot of code. So it's unlikely that the developers will be able to free up enough space to push the stuff in. And there are also features in development right now when they get ready before 7 that will definitely have a higher higher priority for the community, that even if we can clear up some space for these features, they will get priority over VTOL for F411 and F722. Because to be honest, Pavel said for 2 years now, don't buy these flight controllers. And to be fair, if anyone still did, yeah.
If you've got F4-1, don't expect VTOL. No way. Especially, I mean, there's no excuse anymore other than the size, maybe. But then there's the F405 WMN. If it's the price, speedy BF405 wing. There's no real excuse for F411 anymore.
I think the only excuse is the people that bought them before.
Yeah.
Because when was it? Like 2020 or maybe 2021, where Pavel and other people started talking about not buying them. Until then, they were recommended flight controllers, especially like the 722. It was the premium flight controller. So loads of people bought them thinking that they were great. Luckily, I did, but I only bought one 722 wing. And now might be a little bit left out.
Yeah,
but that was 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 3.5 years ago, actually. But yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, if someone builds a VTOL now, then this person needs to buy a new flight controller anyway.
Yeah.
And he will not disassemble some old scrap plane with an F722 or F411 in it. Also, with the F411, you only have 4 WPM outputs for servos. It might not even be possible to build a VTOL with that.
The other thing is, if you're building a VTOL now, you're using RGPilot, which doesn't run on those flight controllers anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was my third point. Jester, what about F405 boards? Don't worry about them. They will probably even survive us. So I think they have 1 megabyte, but there are also some of them with 2 megabytes. I'm not sure right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you said 1 megabyte, it'd be the average. But it's twice as much as the F411 or F722. So
yeah. So there's so much room. You can fit INAV nearly 2 times in it, so that's absolutely no problem. We are not at autopilot level, where even the F405 are close to be filled. It will be a few years, like 10 or so. Is it wise to calibrate the FC after a long period? Yes, actually it is. Over time, the accelerometer, or in general, these sensors are mechanical devices. Even though they are chips on PCB, inside there are mechanical components, and over time they can slightly degrade and change their properties slightly. So maybe once a year or so, a recalibration is definitely something you should do. Especially if you realize that your plane that was on the shelf for a year, you fly it again, and now it starts to slowly turn or bank or doesn't hold attitude, whatever. Calibration can help, yeah. Any other question in the chat? What's the smallest flight controller and GPS at the moment? The smallest good flight controller, F405WMN, I would say.
Probably. I know that there is a small Atom RC Navi, but I think the WMM might be smaller. And also, I don't know if anyone's actually tried that yet. But with GPS, it's interesting. The Walksnail W10 is small. That seems pretty good. I've got the Rush M10. I've not tried that yet. And also, there's some really small ones from Fox here. But again, I've not had a chance to check them out yet. So, and they're all M10 GPS modules with magnetometers. So there are some really small options for that.
I have no real reference here right now that could help. Oh, wait a second. I have one. Just get... I mean, everyone knows how big a Coke bottle cap is. So this is a Matic M10Q. So you have a reference size that's pretty small. It's just relatively high. That's the only downside. But that's so one of the smallest GPS that I use, and that actually has a very good performance. There's also the BN180 that's about the same size and even a little bit lower in profile. But no, I wouldn't install that one anywhere again, just because of the bad reception it had for me.
So there's the walk snail next to a lid. So
yeah, it's about the same size, right?
Similar size.
Is that the new banana for scale?
This Schweppes for lemonade scale.
Yeah.
Any more questions in the chat at the moment? SpeedyB direct purchase from their website, not via AliExpress, which is more expensive. Okay. The SpeedyB F405 wing is a good buy. Bit of a weird board layout, but great value. I can agree on all of that.
What happened to the hundreds of people that pre-ordered a SpeedyB F405?
They are probably now all in boxes somewhere, because I have not seen many flying them yet.
Exactly, I haven't seen anyone actually flying with them.
I think the point was, the point was people didn't buy them because they built new planes. They just bought them on storage like crazy because they were cheap. I think that's the main reason. Mine is still like in original state. I have not even sorted the pins yet.
Yeah. How many did you buy? Just the one?
Just one, yeah. Because I just wanted to test it, and I could buy another one, but now I have already 2 spare flight controllers.
If you have a spare one already that you have no particular plans to use, wouldn't seem nice to buy another one.
Actually, I have too many spares. I just bought a H743W Lite recently from someone for a good price. I have an F765 wing laying around somewhere, but with a broken USB port, and maybe another one. The F45 WTE is in the T1 now. So I have basically 3 flight controllers spare now. I think that's more than enough.
Until you get 3 planes working.
The next one, I have no plane currently that I have to build. That's my problem, so I have no idea where to put them in. Okay, any more questions? Using Russian 10. Okay, I got mine for weeks. If you purchased, they had shipped them 14 days after payment. Yeah, okay, no new questions. Back to INAV features for INAV 7.
I think that was about it I could see in the list. Unless
Mark wants more.
More. Yeah, at least there's not much merged yet at this point. The GPS fix estimation, dead reckoning navigation could maybe finally get finished as well, hopefully.
The configurator side, the magnetometer tool thing is being changed, so you can actually do the board alignment and mag alignment on the same screen, just to make it a bit easier. So that's
including pitch and roll?
Yes, that's been put back in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen so many posts of people asking, hey, I have installed my flight controller vertical or upside down. How do I change that? And then they have to go into the CLI. That's nice to have that, especially in a graphical interface. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much yet in INAV 7. Yeah, okay.
Is INAV dead?
Done. What? Speaking of dead projects, we can chat if anything has changed in OpenTX. I actually want to check that now. OpenTX GitHub, but I don't think that anything has changed there. Pull requests. Yeah, the last one was from January 5th with a small fix, and the last one before that, that's open, was in July last year.
Wow.
And there was one cancelled in March 26, and the last merged one was in December 2022. Yeah, and that was in the companion, not on the OpenTX side. So yeah, I think we can call OpenTX a dead project now.
Yeah, which is quite funny because it's still better than EdgeTX, and it's dead.
At least it feels more stable. Not saying it is more stable, but it feels more stable. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got onto that last wing talk, didn't we? With the whole fat finger interface. It's horrible.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Crunkefloop, that reckoning will be a nice thing to have. Oh yeah, it will. I just tested it one time. I think it was with the Bixler or the AR Pro or so. And on a trip 2.5 kilometers away during a waypoint mission, I tested the Dead Reckoning, used Return to Home, and the plane basically arrived within 200 meters of the home location, despite some wind. That was pretty impressive. Dead Reckoning, I'm sure there are some users who would like that when they are finding their GPS jammed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are possible use cases, of course, where this might be very useful, but we don't talk about them. Alt shell. Recently, I can no longer update the flight controller with the INAV configurator. It will go into the review mode, but will not be found. Tried everything, but can't get any further. I would suggest ask that in the group, because this might need some troubleshooting, and that's too much to discuss in the Wing Talk.
But I guess Windows and drivers.
Who knows? Or he has the no reboot sequence switch on, something simple like that. Could be. I mean, happened to me once. When will INAV support
DJI's 03 units? 03 air units.
Blame DJI.
Yeah.
Wait, I can.
They are supported. It's just DJI don't support it.
I think it's support at DJI. Support at DJI.com. Yeah. There you can send your complaint.
The OSD is fully supported, just DJI don't support it yet. That's what it is. They need to implement it, and it will work.
We did. The INAV developers did as much as they could, and more than they should.
Yes, definitely more than they should. Right. So, is Shawn still in the chat? I've not seen him for a while.
No.
Right. Well, Shawn has started doing little challenges in the group, which I think is a brilliant thing. And it's the idea is to try and maybe push people to do a little bit more than they're comfortable with, but not in a bad way, in something that they'll enjoy, and then maybe get more from their flying. So
I reckon Shawn's in with one of the Chinese phone manufacturers. I reckon that's what's really going on.
Yeah, he's here still. Are you sort of in the back pocket of like Atom RC, Shawn? So every time someone buys a new one, you get a bit of pocket money. But no, I think these things are brilliant. So the challenges for the first month are to fly out 3 kilometers and then fly home using the Lua script on your radio, which is, it's a really interesting thing to try. Obviously, keep your goggles on, powered on, so if you do get in trouble, you can lower your goggles. But it's one of these things that it's a bit of fun, but at the same time, it's sort of preparing you for if the VTX does go out. and you have to fly back with a lure script. So it's really useful.
It's definitely a real skill that may come in handy,
exactly.
or you should have.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that I think is going to be really interesting.
The only catch that's actually a bit strange. I mean, still it's a challenge, of course. But it's a bit strange. If you need the lure script to navigate back home, you need also the GPS working. But if your GPS works, you have returned to home.
You're no fun, Mark. You're no fun.
You say you have returned home, but what if you don't have a flight controller?
Then you don't have the lure script.
What if your switch is broke?
Yeah, your switch is broke.
That's not true. That's not true. Maybe not. You don't have the flight controller, but for example, I have planes that have a flight controller, but only on the camera. They're not actually connected to the servos, so you could have a camera failure.
I don't get it.
so
anyway, but look. But anyway, I think it's still a good thing to try that out, especially not only for emergency situations, although it's in very, very unlikely situation that you don't have return to home and you have your VTX failing at 3 kilometer distance. But you could, for example, use that just to get more familiar with the layout of the widget, to see what the data do, what happens when you do stick input, just how it looks. Because if you fly like waypoint missions and you do long range waypoint missions, you don't want to have your goggles in your face the whole time. Maybe you do some autonomous stuff with the new waypoint user actions. So your plane automatically takes photos or whatever it does, and you can just monitor the plane on the lure widget, and you will be more familiar with it just by forcing yourself to use it.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really good thing.
Other examples could be that fog comes in or something like that, something to obstruct the video, where potentially return to home will get you home, but you've still got to land it. So there's examples. But it's fun, and it will help, or it could potentially help you in the future. The other challenge was to fly some proximity, basically. So flying low, flying through gaps. I'm surprised inverted wasn't in there, but yeah, it was basically some proximity and gap flying, and low level flying, which again, they're useful skills if you can get around objects and stuff. If something comes in front of you all of a sudden, you could react to it. And also it's a hell of a lot of fun. There's a lot of people.
He is definitely in the pocket of the the plane manufacturers.
Yeah, dear Sonic model, I ended up in a tree again. I need a new wing. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that like just cruising around, looking at scenery and stuff, which is, it's brilliant. Everyone can fly how they like. But just having these little challenges to push you to try something else, maybe will expand the hobby for you. So then you'll go from, I just want to fly 10 miles that way and have a look at what's over there. And then on the way back, you think, I've got battery left. There's some nice trees over there. I'm going to fly around them through the gaps. It just gives you more things to do in the hobby. So it's a win-win, really, especially for Shawn when you crash.
Yeah, well, what I also like to do sometimes, just cruise around, and then I look at my radio. I go to the Yahoo mapping widget, and I just look what area I am flying over. Also to make sure you are not flying over urban areas, of course. Because often when you fly in FPV, you just have your look forward. You cannot see what's below you. And if for example, you fly in angle mode, you have some crosswind, you might not realize that the wind pushes you over urban area where you don't want to fly. And that's where these widgets come in really handy. And I think it's a good thing to get more familiar with them and bring people to use them, actually.
Yeah, Shawn's just said he gets $10 every time I say Sonic model, so there we go. But yeah, Conkle just mentioned as well that he had to land in the fog using mission planner telemetry once. So it is something that could come in useful potentially. That little script skill. But, I mean, anyone in the chat actually going to be trying these challenges? Remember, Shawn's watching, so the answer's got to be yes.
Archel, will there be a possibility in INAV that there will be a warning that the battery capacity is sufficient to fly back home? So a warning to turn around. This is in INAV since 2-3 years already?
Longer than that, because Shelley did that. And he's been doing RG-Pilot for a while now.
I think it was in 2.1 or 2.2 when that feature came in. Yeah. You have...
check out the battery.md document on GitHub. You need to set up your battery using watt hours, not milliamp hours, and you need to configure a few things like the cruise speed, cruise watts, or...
was it the battery? Yeah,
it's in battery.md, really near the bottom.
Battery capacity monitoring, profiles, where's the remaining flight time and flight distance estimation? That's where you want to go. I copy you the link in the chat. Here you go. And when you set this up, you can enable the remaining flight time and the remaining flight distance OSD elements. There's a catch. Remaining flight distance currently doesn't work in 6.1.1. Someone did a little mistake there, but remaining flight time is still there. And this basically will tell you when you have to turn around and fly back home, not how much flight time you have actually left. So if these counters, if everything is set up properly, make sure you calibrate your current sensor, your voltage sensor. Everything has to be well calibrated. And after that, you can just watch these counters in the OSD, and it will take into consideration how far you are away, what's your average cruise time. Even the wind direction is taken into account if it's measured properly. And it will just tell you when you have to turn back around, fly back home in a straight line in navigation mode. That's important. It just considers the power the plane uses in like cruise mode or in return to home. If you fly in acro, you have to be careful with your power management. If you go full throttle, you will not make it.
Yeah, and you can actually set the percentage of battery remaining when you arrive back home as well to give you a little bit more compensation, I guess.
Yeah. There's actually one small catch that's not mentioned here. You can say what your remaining battery should be, but you also have in the battery configuration the value for critical battery level. The critical battery level you set in the battery configuration will always be considered your zero battery state. So if you say you want to have 10% battery overhead when you arrive back home, it will actually be at the end 20% of your charge. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Okay, would be what's next? Does INAV work on Chrome OS? aka Chromebook? Thanks. That's a good question.
I don't know. It used to. When it was a Chrome app, but I really don't know anymore.
Does anyone compile it for Chrome at all?
Well, there's Linux, Mac, and Windows for latest. But
yeah. Is it possible? So many questions. Usually, we never get so many questions in the chat.
Shawn's just gonna start his challenge.
Yeah. Is it possible to display waypoints on the OSD without being in waypoint nav mode?
Wait,
yes, of
he's doing
course.
in angle mode. That's cheating.
Yeah, inverted in acro, Shawn. Come on.
You've got to, well, at least acro, if not manual. Come on, Shawn. Come on.
So to the question, David Hurin, is it possible to display waypoints in the OSD without being waypoint nav mode? Yes, that's totally possible. If you enable the HUD elements, I didn't do that for a long time. If you enable the HUD in the OSD, like the last 2 or the next 2 or 3 waypoints, for example, I think 3 is the maximum.
3 is the maximum, yeah.
Yeah, and you load a waypoint mission. You have to load one into RAM. Then the waypoints will be shown on your HUD. You don't have to be in the mission. They will just always be shown. So you could use them, basically the first 3 waypoints, to mark points of interest, for example, if you want that. That's no problem. So what else? I was going to answer the accounts for wind. Very clever stuff. Yep, it does. Especially since INAV 6, the wind estimator is now working properly. It was a little bit sketchy in older INAV versions. Okay, great idea. Come on, Shawn, it was 3 miles out, not kilometer.
See,
Okay,
Shawn's doing this live on Wing Talk. Everyone's got no excuse after this.
Yeah. Shawn, do you have Skype on your phone right now? You could just join the. Oh, too bad. Yeah, that would be nice. A live flight. I mean, if I wouldn't be the host and I need the power to render the stream the whole time, I could also manage the stream from the flying field.
There has to be a bonus points for each challenge. You know, like this one, it could be you have to in manual mode and inverted as well, something like that. You know.
Paul B or C. Angle. That's nearly as bad as using Horizon.
Not quite, but nearly.
Nearly. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, okay, no, not happening. I'm using ELRS on this model. I knew Lua was very laggy, hence the angle mode. The Lua is way too unstable on ELRS.
Oh, okay, if the Lua is laggy.
I do it on R9. Another slow clap. Yeah, okay, I think we have
I have some recent experience with the update rates of ELRS, so yeah.
Oh, at the airport, yeah.
Not impressive.
So, do we have any other topics?
I think on that massive disappointment, we could probably end the show.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Yeah, I think we can do that. Let's call it a day. We are 2 hours in anyway, so thanks a lot, guys. It was a great show. Even though Steve was not here, but I think we managed to keep everyone happy. We had a lot of questions in the chat today. That was really cool. And I hope we will have that engagement the next time as well. As always, if you have any questions to the Wing Talk, you can also put it in the comments. I'm not looking on the comments every day, but I will try to answer them, of course. And if any troubleshooting, any problems, of course, come to the group. There are so many people helping you and giving good advice, help you with troubleshooting. So always welcome to see new people there as well. Crunkle, great Ring Talk, chaps. Thanks for all the amazing work you do. Yeah, you're very welcome. And also thanks to you for all the content you deliver. And you also help a lot of people. So thanks for that. Good talk, guys. Have a great evening and see you next time.
Thank you for watching. All right, bye.